Okay, we're on Erchin, Perik Bet, Mishnah Aleph. First Mishnah in the second chapter, Masechet Erchin. This is a long Mishnah. I'm going to explain it's a long Mishnah, mostly because of one line towards the end of the Mishnah. Now, in order to understand this Mishnah and the rest of the chapter is going to start with aim be something, pachot mi something, below yater something else. Meaning, there's in whatever case, there's no less than something and no more than something else. So we're going to start with Erchin, and then we go into like a ton of other different topics that have nothing to do with Erchin. That's basically a chapter of tangents. Says the Mishnah, aim ba'archin pachot mi stela. If a person says Erko alai, this value, as we learned in the Psukim in Vayikra Chav Zayin, here's Vayikra Chav Zayin. So we learned that the most you could give is 50 shekel. Okay, 50 shekel. Let's go back to our chart that we had before. Right, the highest value was a male between the ages of 20 and 60. Okay, and that value was 50 shekel. So that's the most you could give. But we didn't see one important pasuk. The pasuk said, V'im machu, right? We did see it, but we're going to go it. If he's too poor for the valuation, then the Kohen should be according to the value and according to the means that the priest values him. I mean, if he doesn't have the money, then the Kohen has the ability to say you owe a different amount. So the Mishnah says, "Ein pachot misela." So it can never be less than 1 sela, but it's never more than 50 sela. Ketzad. Natan sela ve'ishir. So let's say he was a very poor person, okay? And then he promised to get Erko alai, and he went to the Kohen and he said, I can't do it, right? That's all I can do. All I have is a sela. So he gave the sela, and that's what the Kohen said, okay? Then the ve'ishir, then he won the lottery. Now he's gazillionaire. If he could give 50. And no noten klum. He fulfilled his vow. But pachot misela, if he gave less than a sela ve'ishir, less than a sela, that's all he had. Okay, then he won the lottery. Then noten 50 sela, because the giving the less ein bein, the minimum you can give is a sela. And if you give less than a sela, then you haven't fulfilled your obligation, and therefore, once you're rich, you have to give 50 sela, you have to give 50 sela. Haya biyadav, new case. Haya biyadav 5 slaim. Let's say he said Erko alai. He's a man between the ages of 20. He's 35. He has to give 50, and he has 5 slaim. Rabbi Meir says, how much you have to give? You have to give, you only have to give 1. You don't have to give all of your money. Okay? See, Rabbi Meir says, look at the Bartudur for a second. Rabbi Meir says, O noten kol chamishim, o enu noten ela shekel. You either give all of it, meaning you have to give 50. But if you can't give 50, you only give 1. Chachamim say, no, noten et kulam. You have to give all of them. I mean, you give as much as you can. Okay, so therefore if he has 5, he has to give 5. If he doesn't have 50, he has to give as much as he can. Mishnah continues, exactly what we learned before. In Erchin, there's no less than a sela, and then the most you can give is, and you cannot give more than 50 sela. And the Gemara says that the reason why we learn this again, okay, it's to teach you another halacha, a different halacha. Basically, that there is such a thing as less than 50 and more than 1, and that we paskin not like Rabbi Meir, but we paskin like the Chachamim that say you give as much as you can if you have the money, not like Rabbi Meir. Next case, now we're going to go ein bein. Okay, ein pachot mi, ein pachot mi. You see, ein pachot mi zeh, ein pachot mi zeh, not more. So this next part of the Mishnah is going to be challenging to explain. It might take a while. Ein petach b'to'ah pachot mi-shiv'ah v'lo yater al shiva asar. Okay, this is a halacha in Hilchot Niddah. This is basically the basics of Hilchot Niddah. In order to understand this one line, there's a lot of stuff that we have to understand. There's a lot of stuff that we have to go through in order to understand this one line. Okay? So in order to understand Hilchot Niddah, what you really need to know is that in the Torah, we call it Niddah, but there's 2 types of dam that a woman can see. One is called dam Niddah, and the other one is called dam Zivah. Okay, Niddah and Zivah. They're different. They're basically the same woman, same flow. In the Torah, it comes out. It sounds like it's a little different, but the way the Chazal explain it, it all just depends on where during the cycle, and it's not even a menstrual cycle. Where during the calendar cycle of this woman, each woman has her own cycle, and where does she see blood? Okay, so each cycle begins what's called the petach, the first day, the opening, the petach of the cycle. Starts with dam niddah, with niddah. And niddah is Okay, Niddah is 7 days. And after those 7 days, then the next 11 days, so normally a woman who sees dam, Niddah, she sees, for example, halachically, according to Midoraita, she sees blood 1, 2, 3, 4 days, okay? This is Midoraita, she sees blood 4 days. During dam, during Yemei Niddah, during her Niddah time, okay? Then all she has to do is count till the end of the 7 days of Niddah. She continues 7 days from the first day that she sees. She go to the mikvah at the end of the 7 days, and then she is tahora. After Niddah, there's an 11-day period that's called Yemei Zivah. Okay, the 11-day period after Zivah means the following. During those 11 days, you count, so the whole thing is 18 days. It's just a theoretical calendar. She has the 7 days of Niddah, started this Sunday, and then after those 7 days are over, she starts Yemei Niddah, Zivah. And if she sees 1 or 2 days, if it just says she sees blood on those 2 days, she's called what's called Shomeret Yom Keneged Yom. She guards 1 day. I'm going to make that bold. Okay? And if she only sees 1 day or 2 days, the next day she's clean, she's tovelet, and she's tahora. If she sees 3 straight days during her Yemei Zivah, then she's what's called a Zava Gedola. That's the halachic term. She's a Zava Gedola. And then she has to wait what's called Shiva Nikiyim, 7 clean days. And after the Shiva Nikiyim is over, the next day she goes to the mikvah, and then she's tahora. And when does she start the new petach? When does she start the new so this is an 18-day cycle, 7 days of Yemei Niddah, and 11 days of Yemei Zivah. So in the normal case, let's say she only sees dam here, okay, during Yemei Niddah, then she counts. And then she counts the 11 days. If she only sees 1 or 2 days, that's fine. And then the next time she sees, after 11 days are over, the next time she sees Re'iyah, she sees menstruation, then that she begins Niddah again. So it could be here, the petach could be here, or the petach could be here, or the petach could be here, and then she basically starts counting again. She basically starts counting from whenever she began to see this Re'iyah again. And that didn't work, okay? Whatever, you get the point. She basically starts counting. Let's see if I can do that. We'll Control V. Right, she starts counting, and then that's how she starts again. Now, if she becomes a Zava Gedola, okay, let's undo that. We'll get rid of that. If she becomes a Zava Gedola, so as long as she sees blood, Yemei Zivah, the Yemei Zivah can continue. And as long as she continues to see Dam Zivah, the Yemei Zivah continue until she stops seeing that Zivah, and she counts Shiva Nikiyim, so it could be a long time. And then she counts 7 clean days, and then she starts her petach again. So either, if she didn't see any Re'iyah at all during Yemei Zivah, then her petach starts on day 19 after the 18, I'm just pointing to the screen, after the 18-day cycle, remember 7 plus 11, okay, and then she has her petach again, or, let's go back here, or as long as the Zivah returns. So it's after the 18-day cycle, or after 7 days returns. Now, so it's really important for a woman to know what her petach is, because if she sees blood during her Yemei Niddah, all she has to count was 7 days. If she sees blood during Yemei Zivah, if she sees 3 days in a row during Yemei Zivah, then she has to count Shiva Anakiyim. So let's say she saw Yemei Zivah, 3 days during these 3 days, she'd have to count 7 days, and then she'd start her petach over here. Very important to know what her petach is. So our Mishnah talks about a case when the following happens. She's petach b'to'ah. So she's to'ah, she made a mistake. She doesn't know when her petach is. Really important to know her petach is because you have to know, am I in Yemei Niddah, Yemei Zivah? So the Mishnah says, ein petach b'to'ah, if she makes a mistake, she doesn't know, how long does she have to wait of clean days in order for her now to start over and know she has a definite new petach? So it can't be pachot mishiva. The minimum amount is 7 days. V'lo yoter, the maximum amount that she has to have clean days between from the last time she saw blood is 17 days. Okay, so the minimum is 7 and the maximum is 17 clean days, and then she knows for a fact that the day after that, after the 17 days, is her new petach. We'll explain how. I'll just explain for a couple of them. Okay, so if she saw let's say she saw 1 day of blood, she doesn't know which is which. Okay, so this is our imaginary calendar. Let's say she saw Re'iyah here. She saw blood on this day. So the question is, she doesn't know. 1 second, I don't know when my petach is. So is my re'iyah, what day is it? I mean, now let's say theoretically, if she saw it, okay, if she saw it on this day, on the 4th day, in theory, she was on day 4, all she'd have to do is wait till day number 7, and that would be the end of Shiva Nakim, she's fine. If she saw it on day 1, and she wants to know what if she saw it on day 4, she'd have to wait, not 7 days, that would be the end of her Niddah, and then she counts Zivah, but she wants to know when her petach is. Okay, but she doesn't know it's day 4. So we have to assume she always saw it on day 1. Okay, that she saw it on, I'm pointing to the screen again, she saw it on day 1, so therefore she has to count 17 days after day 1. We're going to assume if that's her day 1, she has to count 7 days, that's her day 1. We're going to delete this, okay, and you have to assume she's counting 17 clean days, and then when does her new petach? On the 18th day, on this day, on day number 18, that's her new petach. But what if she saw 2 days in a row? So if she saw 2 days in a row, we're afraid that maybe she saw, okay, on the normal cycle, maybe she saw on this day, 1 day here, and day number 1 of the next cycle, of her next petach. Now and therefore, how many days does she have to count now? Because remember, if she saw 2 days in a row, even if she saw 3 days in a row, if 10 and 11 are Yemei Zivah, and 1 was Yemei Niddah, she's not a Zava Gedolah. So if she saw 3 days in a row, we're afraid that these are the 3 days she saw, okay? And therefore, how many days does she have to count from the last time she saw? The answer is, if you're really with me, 17 days. Because remember, the last day she saw was day 1 of her new cycle. Counts 7 Shiva Nikiyim, and then she counts 11 more days of Zivah, and that's when she starts her new cycle. And total would be 17 days. I'll add that in the chart. It's a little confusing. So she saw it 3 days in a row. We have to assume she saw it on day 10 of Zivah, 11 of Zivah, and number 1 of Yemei Niddah. Okay, and therefore she has to count. And I'm counting Niddah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? And then another 11 days of Yemei Zivah. And that would be a total of 17 days after she saw. That's the maximum amount that she saw of Yemei Zivah. Once you start adding anything more, see, if you say, the issue is this, if you assume, if you were Haru Choshesh, that she had 3 days of Ru'iyah during Yemei Zivah, then she just counts Shiva Nikiyim. So you always have to assume that she saw the last, and then as soon as you start adding more, let's say you assume that she saw 4 days in a row. So if you say she saw 4 days in a row, these were the 4 days, then she'd only have to wait 16 days. Because again, you assume the first 2 days of Yemei Niddah. Or if she saw 5 days in a row, then all she'd have to count is 15 days from day 3, etc., etc. It goes down all the way, the minimum. Let's say she kept saying, let's say she saw all these days Yemei Niddah. She saw like 20 days in a row of Dam Niddah, of Dam, all the way through. Remember, we said then her Zivah continues, and then all she has to do is count Shiva Nikiyim. So that's why the Mishnah says that en bepetach Torah pachot mishiva. If she saw it 20 days in a row or 15 days in a row, she nonetheless always has that Shiva Nikiyim. V'lo yater al Shiva Asar. And the maximum she has to count is 17 days, clean days, and then she knows she can start her new petach. Last part of the Mishnah. En b'nega'im pachot mishavu echad. Let's say a person saw a nega. He saw tzarat. And he gave, tzarat. Yesh nigei adam. Shavua echad. Okay, the minimum is one week, so tzarat. V'lo yater shlosha shavot. It can't be more than 3 weeks. What's the most of 3 weeks? The Bartuner says, why 3 weeks? Nigei batim. Sometimes in a gayim of houses, it has to be it can be up to 3 weeks. So there's in tzarat, ein pachot mishavua. It's never less than 1 week and not more than 3 weeks. Sorry, very long Mishnah. And nothing you can do. It's a very complicated issue. I hope I explained it well. Comments or questions, email me at artspolter@gmail.com. Make it a great day.